Yep. It's a chance for you to ask some questions about what you have just seen. And joining me up here is Patricia Kopatchinskaja, Maria Ursprung, who is the director of this production, Jay Campbell of the Jack Quartet, otherwise known as God in this, and Christian Heubes of the Mahler Chamber Orchestra. So, who's got a question for what you just experienced? Huh? Question? Question is, how much time went into the preparation for this production?
Well, actually, we started 2 years ago. This project was conceived 2 years ago for Lucerne Festival. And so Jack Quartet and me, we are doing it for the second time. But Maria is for the first time in this production, and she prepared everything here for Ojai. She had to make a lot of adjustments because we have no choir. In Lucerne, we had a choir. Everything what you heard from loudspeakers, we had in real. We had a choir in the middle of the audience, and they had candles in their hands, and they were positioned as a cross. We didn't have that. We didn't have some videos. We also didn't have a composer because Jorge Sanchez-Young comes from Venezuela, and he did not get a visa for US just because he is a Venezuelan. So we had to adjust, and so Maria had to fly once. I think maybe she can tell you.
Yes.
Yeah, I was here once. It's true.
We had Maria come to Ojai in February to look at the facility and think about how to do this here.
Yeah, and I was preparing with the team, with the sound engineer and the light engineer, or light designer. And here we had not so much time. We really had to prepare, we had
since
to prepare,
Sunday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And here we had a 3 hours rehearsal, and before just rehearsal, 3 hours were with everybody, and before hours for the pieces.
And then put it together with staging and then a general. Yeah. So really 2 full days of rehearsal here. Not very much.
And it's quite amazing to know how many people work behind the stage. I think as many as on stage, no?
Yes.
It's crazy. When I saw so many people working on this project, I thought, it's terrifying to have such an idea and then to make all these people work. But I hope it was worth.
Question, yes. We'll repeat the question so people can hear it.
If you allow me, instead of asking a question, may I say thank you, and may I say that I'm from Central Europe, and I experienced what I went through living there, and it's my birthday, and it was the greatest gift because I realized how fortunate and privileged I am to have a new life here. Thank you.
From the front. Barbara.
I just want to make a comment on how magnificent the performance was. I just want to make a comment on how magnificent the performance was and how moving it was. And I'd also like to know how much, whether you know about Trimpen and his use of the metronome and of the, of the app, the phone app, and how he used all of these here in Ojai in the year 2011. And are you aware of his work?
Well, Tom told me about it some days ago, and I believe this instrument in the
arch.
at the entrance, the arch,
Right.
it's his ones, no?
That's right.
From Trimpin.
That's right.
I want to visit him when I will be in Seattle, playing the next year. I will visit this man. Yeah.
I've already arranged a visit for Patricia. Somehow Patricia and Trimpin are made for each other, I think.
At 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, from 9 to 9:15, there'll be a demonstration of how the Trimpin Sound Arch works
Right.
with the app.
Great. Another question. Abby, over here. Luke, behind you.
Yes, I have two questions. I want to know about the goose stepping at the beginning and also the footage from Syria, if you have any specific comments about that, or why did you choose that footage opposed to generic war footage?
Well, I am not a scientist, so I don't know very much. I am just a musician, and I reflect everything what happens around me on this planet, of course. And I cannot just make classical music on stage as nothing would happen. And I am very concerned, deeply concerned about the situation on our planet, the environmental situation. You see, we have less and less bees, rising seas because the ice is melting. We have dying seas. We have huge problems, droughts, hunger. That's why people, that's why we have so many refugees in Europe, and we don't know what to do with them because it's so difficult to integrate people in a completely new society. And that's why they also have wars, because the mother nature does not resist anymore our big mouth, and we are eating our planet to the end, to the very end. So that was the idea of this project. And what was the question?
Why the marching feet and why the footage, particularly of Syria?
Well, Syria, it was the dead city in Syria. There is nobody in this city anymore. I don't know if you saw the video very clear in the end. Maria promised me that the video will be more or less clear in the end. Did you see the dog, the only one dog? No, probably not, but so there are no human beings in this city. This is what we live after a war. And today I was knocked out, or yesterday, in the children's concert. I asked children, is the war good? And they answered, yeah! And I was shocked. How can children think that a war is good? And then I asked them, but to kill people, is it good? And then some of them answered, no, actually no. We have to educate our children to be able to enjoy peace, this is so important. I was really shocked today. And marching feet is, of course, soldiers. I got inspired from the end of Die Soldaten, the opera of Zimmermann, Bernd Alois Zimmermann. I was very, very impressed of the end. And I wanted to start this project with this marching feet. And then, of course, we combined, the program is clear, I think, yeah.
Yes.
I'll just say, and I mentioned before another magnificent representation, I think, of mediation in our society. I mean, like, goes beyond any specific social, political point, but I feel that you were constantly saying our perspectives are constantly being changed. It's like the old Magritte thing, say un, not un peep. It's like, it's a picture of a pipe. Call attention to perspective. So that's what I think you were doing. You're basically saying, this is not like what you're seeing, it's a certain version of what you're seeing, and that version is constantly changing. And constantly be aware that we're constantly being mediated, and you are constantly mediating others.
Yes.
Just be more aware that there's no one fake news, everything.
Yes. It's. I cannot really explain all that. This is like a dream. And then you decide what you saw in your dream. You analyze afterwards, but not while, because you cannot analyze the dream while you dream. And yes, I just put some elements, and the connection you will do. And of course, children. This was the idea of Maria, because I actually in Lucerne we ended. How did we end? Yeah, J was God coming down to us with one metronome, and it stopped. But here Tom said we have to find a happy end because everything burned.
A bit of hope.
Yeah, a bit of hope. Yeah. Especially because of the situation here when everything burned. And Maria said, why don't we take 2 children and they give them to God, a plant or something, and God gives them the metronome. It's a symbol that the future is in your hands. You still can do something. You have not so much time, though. Maybe you have questions to Jay, to Maria, to Christian, to the MCO.
I'll ask a question of Jay and Christian. As musicians, sort of describe, working in this kind of a structured concert, very unlike what you normally do.
I really enjoy the break from playing a standard concert and doing something that's more experiential and has a through line that isn't, we're not beating you over the head with an idea, and we're kind of stringing a lot of repertoire together to create an experience that you can interpret for yourself, which I think is not that far off from what composers are doing also. So that's really cool to be a part of, and it's a nice break, and I think it's a really good way to present something really personal.
For me, it's a wonderful way of changing pieces we have played so many times. I mean, you probably listened also to the Beethoven Concerto, and we played it many times, and this, we just open more doors for ourselves also, because we studied these pieces so many times, and we're like in a square room. And also this performance tonight, there's so many different languages we speak with different pieces, which is changing constantly, as you said, different perspectives on the different things. And I enjoy a lot just being challenged also with this. So because it's a new perspective for myself. I got really this classical form of music concert is always so similar. It's so just how it goes, where the end is, what comes, when the applause comes. Everything is just planned before. Everybody knows it already. And even we ourselves playing this tonight, sometimes I was thinking, so what do I have to do exactly? And then I was like, okay, yeah, now I remember again. I got inspired from the other person telling me, yeah, now it's your cue, you have to go lay down. Now you have to sing. No, you're not allowed to play. You sing tonight. It's great. You just get free from what you ever have done before, and that, is something new. I really enjoy.
What is so incredibly inspiring to work with such musicians is, for example, we had the problem here that everything has to be amplified, because it doesn't matter how much you practice, but if you are not heard, that was for nothing. So we really need a very good amplification, and Ben is phenomenal how he does it. But we have some... Yeah, bravo, Ben, yes, thank you so much. When I heard in the rehearsal how Jay sounds, God, it was amazing. I suddenly understood it's a piece of art, how you amplify us all. But so we had quite a lot of people suddenly in this production, and I didn't want anyone. I wanted that everything changes, that we musicians do everything. Except the Campbell, the harpsichord. Somebody had to take it. But you didn't notice it so much, no? You didn't notice. Yeah, we did. Yeah, you see, so we did good. Yeah, it was black, and I was with a siren here in the front. And they were behind me. And then we had the problem that we had to put 8 music stands plus microphones. And of course
plus
we have...
the microphones.
Yeah,
sure.
all 8 microphones. Can you imagine? How are we going to do it? And also this one, the wooden box. So Julia Gallego, the flutist, she had suddenly the idea, why don't we come all in the front, and so microphone people can hide behind us. And it was a genial idea. So you didn't notice the people with the microphones, no? Not so much, yeah, so it worked. And this is so wonderful because everybody was thinking, so what are we doing? The same was with Dowland and with Oliveros. People decided, okay, so where is the shortest way? We go like this. They are all thinking and creating together. This is my ideal, how an ensemble can work together. There is no leader. There should not be a leader. Everyone is responsible for idea. There should be an idea, and everyone is inventing.
And it's not even one ensemble. It was the Mahler Chamber Orchestra, the Jack Quartet, and you. And so quite a group that was all thinking the same.
Thinking the same. And having Maria connecting everything with light, with microphones, I think it was very complicated. I admire you very much.
Another question? Any others? Yes, right here.
Could you please speak a little about the electrical thing you did from the phones and the iPads and
this is the Oliveras.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, that's a piece by a composer. She taught at Mills College for a long time. Her name is Pauline Oliveros. So that piece is called Horse Sings from Cloud. It's a very open-ended score. It's just a set of instructions. So it can be for any sustaining instrument or voices, and it's just one sentence that says to sustain a tone until the desire to change that tone subsides, and then change it. Just let that stew.
It was very funny to see how fast I changed from one to the next. You can really see the character of the person. And some people were with one tone all the time, and that was boo, 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 boo.
Yeah, I just wandered into a corner. We've done it a couple times, and my favorite thing recently is to find something called gimbal lock, which is something that Chris told me about. It's basically where your pitch, roll, and yaw, like you. I think two of them coincide, and then so you lose 1 degree of control, and so it doesn't actually know which direction it's going in. So it's like bouncing between these two polar opposite things. And I think I just wandered into a corner and like played around with gimbal lock for a while. But it's a really beautiful piece, and it was adapted for iPhones by a friend of ours, Levi Lorenzo, who was here with ICE, and he was
a member of ICE. Yeah.
Yeah, he does all the coding, he does a lot of stuff in Arduino, and he does all kinds of crazy improvisations with like teacups and lasers and really, really, really super cool stuff. So yeah, it was fun to do that with Mahler Chamber. It was probably the first and last time we'll ever do that. It's very cool. It was a pleasure.
You were blowing into your phones as well?
So you can use your mouth as a resonating chamber, very similar to if you have an electrical toothbrush and you kind of change the shape of your mouth and your palate, so you can get different overtones to resonate coming out of your mouth. So that's what we were doing. And it makes this like wah, wah, wah.
Isn't that obvious to everybody? Why did you decide to do it on phones, though?
It's just really, it's really beautiful. I mean, her music is so, for me, there's something really organic about her music, and to do it on phones is really, is kind of an interesting contradiction. And also, just like we carry these things around with us all the time, and these things are more powerful than the things that shot us into the moon in the 60s, and all we really do is play Candy Crush on it. So it's fully functional and capable of being like a really powerful instrument for all kinds of different things. So I really like doing that piece, because there is a moment of dissonance, I think, when you see it being done. People take their phones out, and it's like, they're on stage, like, are you texting? What are you doing? It's like, oh no, we're just using this as an instrument.
Let's have one more. Yes, there's one over here.
Yeah, I was curious, are there plans to do this performance again somewhere else? It seems so customized to Ojai and, the mix of musicians that happen to be here. Would it be possible to do this, or do you have future plans elsewhere?
I hope very much, very, very much. And I hope also to get new ideas. I think it has a future. One could do many things with scenarios, with imagination, but I still don't know. So everything is open. I think London was interested. We will ask.
Any others?
Yes, we are doing it with the Berliner Staatskapelle in Berlin, because they are doing every year one concert for environment, and they are doing it for so it's an initiative of the orchestra. This is the orchestra of Barenboim. So they asked me to do it. Yeah, right.
I know you can get a great wooden box. Actually, when you look up here, it's fairly dented, however. I want to thank Patricia, Maria, Jay, and Christian for joining us, and thank all of you.